Nigerian, those at the bottom of the pyramid, were very happy with the subsidy removal. Guess what? Mr. President was not the one that removed subsidies. By law, subsidies were removed when the budget for 2023 was designed. When people like us, who should know better, who were not beneficiaries of the inefficiencies of the subsidy system, were joining those who were beneficiaries of the inefficiencies and who were rent-seeking in this country to denigrate that thing.
But on one hand, one World Bank report or some reports out there saying Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world. Yeah.
We can accept an international body's report that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world because they don't earn $3 per day. But we cannot accept that the Nigerian economy is one of the 10 largest, fastest growing economies, or one of the 10 economies that would boost global GDP this year. I think we are lucky to have the president in his most matured phase.
And that takes us into the next question. The president travels a lot, right?
He's not traveled enough.
He's not traveled enough.
Yep, I would say so.
Where is the story for the growth?
The mistake we make as Nigerians is thinking everything communications should be left to the government. Tell me when last in this country you saw prices go up and come down. Since you've been born and you're an old man. The only reason why, even our Nigerian hospitals take care of a lot of foreigners, as bad as we think they are, is because this is still one of the cheapest healthcare ecosystems in the entire world. Nigerian families, especially at the bottom of the pyramid, can take care of themselves with way less than that $3 a day.
I go to maybe Budget Office website, DMO website. You go to all these key government agencies. Apart from CBN, most of these websites have nothing. There's no information. There is no data, right? So you're there, you're trying to do a piece.
My brother, please off your mic.
Hello everyone, welcome to Drinks and Mics, brought to you by Nairametrics. My name is Ugodre, and if you're just watching for the first time, where have you been? We do this every Friday. Where in this part of the world have you been? Anyway, it's about to be another exciting session on the show. I've got the usual gang in the house. I've got to my right, Mr. Tunji Andrews of Awaba.
Awaba.
Tunji has some big news though. He's very, a lot of good things happened to him during the week, so he's probably going to spill the beans later, even though he hasn't blessed the gang yet. And those of you that are watching, just share your account number. Tunji is in a very good mood right now.
Most importantly, they should bring their bubusinesses there.
Yeah. Thank you, Jerry.
Anyway, get to him next, but you can see anyway, let me go to Sir Arnold.
Lesser of two evils.
Yeah. So Arnold,
I'm well, thanks. I'm well. A long week.
Yeah.
We're happy.
You made money, right?
I tried now.
Yeah, I was watching something the other day. They were talking about people who wear glasses these days. Taking pictures. I hope you're not taking anybody's picture here.
No, this is my regular glasses.
Yeah, glasses.
The Chinese AI actually broke.
Oh, it broke?
It started recording without me asking to. I was like, what's going on? I looked at my phone, I was seeing videos. Oh my God, yeah. I got this
Now you know why I was
very cheap Chinese AI glasses. And I hate to say Chinese. Right?
Don't say Chinese.
And I realized, so when I'm looking through my phone, I'm like, this thing is recorded? So I realized, it just records and takes pictures without me actually pushing.
So you, bro.
Yeah. So something happened.
I hope you don't keep it at home when you're naked or something, because that's probably spying.
But yeah, no, it was man, like it's very incriminating. So I got rid of it. I broke it.
All right. We've got a special guest in the house. I'm sure you can all see that by now. The one and only Mr. Otega Ogra.
The tiger. I see the tiger in the socks as well.
Yes. I always have to know my socks.
No, I'm going to steal that stuff. Yeah. I got my
I saw it when I came in. I'm like, hey, no, I got my one down there.
Yeah. I like that.
It's good to be here.
We really wear socks.
It's very good.
Anyway, Otega, for those who don't know, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Digital Comms. Yep. Senior Special Assistant to the President. So you guys know today, he's on the hot seat.
There will be fire.
But Otega is used to fire. For those who
considering that
100%.
when we met 10 years ago or so,
Yep.
fire made us
It was
meet.
fire, man. Tech has been fighting fires for those who don't know forever. A lot of people don't know you come from the private sector, though. Do they?
Really?
No,
I want to believe
Yeah,
it.
no.
Because you see, if people don't know, then it's a bigger problem for me.
Yeah.
Because I'm suffering from the perception of private sector perception in government. You know, people, yes, you know, I mean, when I'm in government, my colleagues in government.
Yeah.
And then you're telling me people outside don't know I'm in private sector.
So is it that they think you're
don't
lobbying?
know you from private sector. I mean, some of us.
Yes.
No. So as I met him
You
when
know.
he was with Wema.
Was it Wema or GT Bank?
No, it was just after you. It was just the transition between GT and Wema.
2011?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2010 or 2009.
No, it was right around that. It was Wema. Then I think GT, or was it?
It was GT then Wema.
GT then Wema. Yes. GT then Wema. Then moved to Boa. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you
was
say catch
Boa.
it, is it that they think that you're lobbying for the
No,
private
people
sector?
just believe that, oh, this guy comes from somewhere in the private sector, which is Boa, my last job.
Yeah.
And because my former boss is, you know, the second,
course.
one of the top black richest billionaires in the world.
Yeah,
They
top
just
three in
believe
Nigeria,
that,
by the way.
oh, everything was just be smooth sailing.
yeah.
You are not affected by government liquidity issues.
Okay. Yeah.
And the boy is true that you two work with a billionaire.
You know, just
Not billionaire with naira, billionaire with dollars.
I maybe I shouldn't say this, but
Say it,
there was
please.
one night we were. Otega and I were together, and he was like, I'm going to this place. So, the boat is coming. I'm like, Naso. I didn't look at my guy.
It's
See,
supposed to
the
be
boat is coming.
the yacht is coming.
But it's always important to. I mean, it's also important for people, you know, when you're coming from the private sector as well, because at the end of the day, there are certain things that you're used to that people would think you started getting used to that because you're in government. So sometimes it's good to just be very clear on that. That look,
Yeah, I think
if anything, my lifestyle probably went down.
After, yeah.
no, definitely. But I think the issue is, whilst I was in the private sector, I loved to operate from the background. You know, if you never knew me, you could see my work, but you never see me. Because I just love to have, you know, go back home, rest, eat, sleep. And, you know, once in a while, drink and party.
Indulge.
Yeah.
But then, government came. And I love what my boss is doing. I'm not going to couch it in any other way. I can see what it means well for this country, and I'll keep supporting.
Yeah, so let's get to that.
So this is my own national service.
Let's get to that.
Let me pay now and enjoy later. Let me pay now and enjoy later.
It's good.
Yeah.
Let's get
It's
to
nice
that.
to see you. Nice to hear.
First of all, let's start with what, you know, the SSA Digicoms does. Like, so, I mean, what exactly is that job? Is it just, you know, to defend the president on social media or online, or
I wish
what
it were as
exactly?
simple as defending him on social media. You see, when people ask me what I do, I say it's very simple in description, but extremely difficult in execution. That's my job. My job is to take intent and translate that into, you know, very simple policy language for the average Nigerian. My job is to look at government policy and make it make sense to the common person. But even beyond all that, because that's just, you know, communicating to people. My job is also to, based on my training as a strategic communicator, look at, because I'm also on some planning tables, look at what they're doing and say, this does not bode well for the Nigerian people, or one of my constituencies, which is a business constituency where I was for about 20 years before getting into government, you know, and sometimes I have that minority opinion on the table, because see, if you nip something in the board whilst it's on the planning table, you've saved yourself, you've saved the government, and, you know, even the Nigerian people a lot of headache and gbasgbos, as we call it online. So it looks simple on the surface. Oh, you have to manage these platforms, the digital platforms for personal and official, for the president, the presidency, the Nigerian government. But the most important thing is, as a government, we're there to, you know, create policies, execute those policies, and develop and change the life of the Nigerian people for good.
But
How do you break it down for people so that they can align, especially in this day and age where, you know, digital is everything.
I know.
But do you also do it the other way around, right?
Tunji's in a good mood.
In a very good mood. But people go on Twitter, X, Instagram, and make complaints, right? Where when the president, when there's a post on the president's Instagram or X, I'm sure you see the comments. So you communicate from the president's
side
to
one
the
way,
people,
but there's also a feedback loop.
Yeah, is there a feedback?
There's also
loop?
a feedback loop. And one of the things that we did when we got into office was stop, individual first sort of communications, especially from the seat of power.
Sorry, what does that mean? Individual first.
So prior to now, anything the government is doing, anything, that we're doing, you probably see
Tied to a personality.
one person being that center of information dissemination.
Okay.
So maybe an aide of the president or a minister is always one pushing out the information and all that.
Yes.
And then you as a citizen, you go to the platforms that the government claims to have, and you're looking for information on this. No historical data, no, there's nothing. And I said, I'll be doing my principal a disservice, considering that we were taking up some reforms that were going to, cause short-term pain for Nigerian people. And I knew no Nigerian was willing to listen to us and the reforms we're doing.
Okay.
But I knew that time, like they say, heals all things. So I said, hey, let us make these platforms that we have the center of information dissemination. We can support individually, but people must be able to go back and check this thing. So we did that. And what that has now done is, more often than not, whatever complaints or whatever people have outside there comes directly to those platforms.
Okay.
From there, it goes into we have various tools, some AI-based, some, regular monitoring, social media listening and monitoring tools. It comes inside there. We have a youth team, by the minutes, even when we're sleeping.
So what do you decide, or how do you decide?
Not every complaint,
Of course, has merit or
has merit.
Yeah.
And not every complaint should be given oxygen.
Yeah, of course.
But we have to look at it. One, is it of national importance?
Okay.
Two, is it of will it have material effect on policy? And three, are there any risks, to either the citizens or the government with this going unanswered to? Once you put it on that matrix, then we can make informed decisions as to what we respond to. But one thing I've also learned is that you cannot fight every fire or every battle at the same time. Focus. So more often than not, we pick one thing, we focus on it. And what we've realized is when you focus on that properly, when you approach it truthfully, people are willing to, give you the benefit of the doubt.
So, Tiger, one thing Tunji has said often here.
He just came. Tunji just got here.
I was segueing to him already. I want Tunji to respond. Yeah.
I thought we were having a conversation. He brings a mic.
No.
But now I know what you said on the hot seat.
Because this one, Tunji has, like, when we discuss, macros and a lot of the policies that has gone on, and everything that has happened, there's something Tunji always says. And let me allow him say that. Yeah. What is that thing? Because this is the guy
and it's unfortunate because I've known Tiger for a while, so I know this is his portfolio. It's a question of two things. One, I've always believed go big or go home. If we're not going to fix Nigeria now, then there's no point. We cannot grow into the fix.
Yep.
We need massive catalysts to get us to jumpstart what we have as an economy. What we have been doing right now, for say maybe since the president came in, is basically stabilizing the economy. So giving first aid, making sure the person is stable. But now we need growth in the economy. So I'll come to growth later. But first is what I find missing and what I find lacking is for someone like me. I'm in the business area, right? I'm in a business. So let me shamelessly plug my business. We released the resilience mandate yesterday. And what the resilience mandate for us is, no Nigerian needs to be one mishap away from poverty. Nigerians are hardworking people. They earn on a day-to-day basis. The money is coming in day to day. If something happens, whether it's sick, has an accident, that disrupts his life and he can quickly fall into poverty like that. We're creating a safety net with personal pensions insurance. I'm asking myself, how do I plug what I am doing into the government's overall economic growth plan, if there is one? I don't know. Ogodre seems to know of one. Now, how do I do that? Second is, I'm a little intelligent, but what about the less intelligent people in Nigeria who are just your average everyday people who don't necessarily understand the macros but want to plug into the Nigerian dream? What is there for us to believe in? I'm not hearing anything. I'm just hearing reforms. Reforms are great, but reforms cannot fix. Okay, yeah, they can fix, but it's not reforms we need now. We now need growth. You've done the reforms. We've seen it. We hail it. We like it. But now it's growth. Where is the story for the growth?
So I don't even know how to start responding to this, but I had an interview on Channels a couple of days ago, and I think I basically addressed this, that the mistake we make as Nigerians is thinking everything communications, should be left to the government.
Okay.
The government can only do so much. You're a media company.
Mm-hmm.
If I were to, because you know what they say, paid ends and what have you. If I were to add some paid media to whatever I'm doing in order to give it scale, off the top of your head, how much would it cost?
I should be. Are you saying if I'll be with you?
Yes. No, so how much would it cost? So now let's look at it this way. 2023, this government came in. What were our net reserves? Almost our entire FX reserves. They were locked in somewhere. We couldn't touch it because they had used it for certain things. We're just short of $3 billion. We had obligations that were due as of then of about 7-point-something billion. So airlines alone.
I recall.
Yeah. We remember that.
I want you to follow this story. We also had the IMF loan, which was coming due in about, I think, 14 months from that time we got into office and all that. And we were spending 92 kobo of every 100 naira, of every 1 naira we're making to service our debts.
Yeah.
Meaning that you had 8 kobo out of every naira for capital expenditure, for infrastructure,
salaries,
for social investments, for salaries and all that.
Security, yeah.
But because of the way things were, it simply meant we could not go back to international markets to go and get money without, looking for a bailout.
Yeah.
So we needed to fix the home. I tell people Nigeria is not fragile. Our issues are structural. So when we say reforms, and that is what the president says, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, he sees, because he's a very logical thinker. He has seen it all. He's seen the ups and downs. And he's also been in government before and has seen how structure can fix long-term issues for people. So reforms will come. Reforms are never sexy. Forgive my French. Reforms will hurt those at the bottom of the pyramid the most.
Yeah.
But this is where we needed everybody to have come together. Once you could see the vision, yes, I know we operate in a low-trust environment, which made it even much more difficult.
Yeah.
But once those of you who understood what was going on, once you could see that vision, I think we needed the benefit of the doubts. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did not have that benefit of the doubts. From the day he was elected, people began to interact with him and his administration like we were in 2026, 2027 election season, which I think was totally unfair to him. But guess what? He's a very focused man. He stayed the course. He came out a few times to tell Nigerians, please bear with us. This is what we're trying to do. In less than a year, what have we done? We had paid all those obligations that had fallen due and were outstanding for years.
I also worried about that. I told Zil.
He brought in someone with completely different philosophy from what everybody thought should be the CBN governor, and put him there and said, see, even if on one side we might lack discipline, at least the CBN should not lack discipline in its affairs. And Cardi B, Mr. Olaimi Kadoso has done an excellent...
So don't let me call her Cardi B for
I apologize, sir, you know. He's done an excellent job, given these issues that I've raised. You know, and the president is not, you know, he's not going to sit down somewhere and say, oh, I have done exceedingly well.
But
why
so the obligations that were paid down.
Yes.
I was talking to Zil about this, and I said, yo, I don't get it. Because immediately it happened, we were talking, you know, he told me, see, he was showing me the data, see what we were owing as at 12 months ago, see what we're owing now. And I'm like, why is nobody talking about this? Because it's ridiculous.
And that was what I was coming to. People are actually talking about, we've been talking about it, but we are not even getting amplification from the financial media. I'm not even saying the general media now.
Like I'm one of those.
I mean,
no, because see, and I'll say, I've known him for more than a decade now. Yeah. We fought on so many issues so many times. And that was why even at a point, and we still fight when they release some reports. And that was how I was wondering, I said, okay, why would you even invite me on this? But you see, that is why I respect him so much. That we fight on areas we disagree. Doesn't mean that when Nigeria is at stake, we can't find
common ground.
And I really appreciate you for that. But you see, people like him, and when I say him, I mean Nairametrics, the group. ProShare, 2 online platforms, they have redefined the Nigerian financial reporting space.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And people trust them. So what I would like to say is, I'm not saying, oh, give us a pass mark in government. No. Make yourself more open to us. Request from data. Yes, you might ask the MDs for data, they might not give it to you. Come to us at the presidency. We would whip anybody into line to get you what you want, so that Nigerians can be better informed, so that Nigerians can say that, okay, this is a trusted platform. If they are coming to tell us this, it's because they've done their homework. It's not because someone wants to do propaganda. I'm tired. We put out news, everybody is turning it to propaganda. He's saying, oh, we're doing propaganda. Look at our debts. In dollar terms, it's hardly moved.
One thing I will say though,
sorry, Arnold. So guys, I'm trying to, as much as possible, especially for the audience, make this basically, because I don't want us to get to answer all economic questions.
I think we should have a
So this is
conversation.
basically communication. What has always Arnold, what has always creeped us here is how we are communicating maybe government policies and the feedback loop from the people back to the government, and then the perception outside. Because as you know, investors here and sort of things that we do, these things all matter, right?
It does.
And that's really what this whole session is about. And so maybe Arnold can now take it up from here.
Okay, I mean, so I wanted to sort of buttress your point and also say something. One thing I will say, I was on an emerging markets, speaking to some emerging market investors yesterday or 2 days ago. These are foreign investors that invest in emerging markets, South Africa, Argentina, Egypt, looking at Nigeria. And one of them asked me, who would I compare this current administration to? Argentina, Egypt, like what's the in terms of the reform. Yeah. And as I was talking, I realized something, because I was like, Egypt's Arab Spring 2016, there was reforms, FX reforms, some subsidy removal, Argentina. And I realized that, hold on a minute, Nigeria, all these countries did this with bailouts. Yep. Whether it was Muslim Brotherhood from Egypt and IMF in Argentina, and we haven't. And they all said, wow. And it's until they said, wow, that it hits me that, wow, that we've actually done all of this, that other countries, Indonesia, India, if I name all of them,
Ghana,
all of them,
any country that's gone.
We forget. And I was going to say it's communication. Unfortunately,
no, I don't think it's communication.
Because I didn't realize until I said
it is, and it's not communication.
I didn't realize. Let me tell you.
And I invest in all these countries too.
You cannot blame people for not hearing this.
No, but I didn't realize until I said it.
Let me tell you what the issue is, right? Because that's what I was going to ask. So, we do a lot of, we understand macros, okay? And some of these things you've said, we understand it clearly. You can see what is happening with subsidy removal, the reason why it was done, the FX reforms, and is working the macros. You can see all those things clearly, right? You can see, even though physical side still has its own issues, but you can see trying to fix things and blah, blah, blah. People who are not here in Nigeria understand this because they're not feeling it. They're outside. So they can, all you're seeing is data. Yeah, you're seeing the data and it looks good, right?
They're removed from it,
But there are people here who feel it. And Otega, you know that. So it's not because, I mean, those macros have happened and reforms take time.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're painful.
So how do you communicate to those people?
Those people.
Yeah.
So let me.
This is what A has to happen before B comes, and then C, D, E, and then how do they? So
let me also add to this. So my thinking has always been,
and feel free to also suggest how.
That's what I'm even going to. So my thinking has always been Brazil. Brazil, when they had hyperinflation, and they were trying to target the hyperinflation scenario where they were publishing inflation numbers on a day-to-day basis so that people in the interlands will not be panicking. This wasn't the government was doing reforms in its own side and just kept mute. So the numbers were published, and obviously this was a time of radio. There was no internet, so the numbers were published in the radio.
Show your age.
I read this by the way. I was not there. And I was not alive. Historical research. But what I'm saying is that what Brazil did was pretty significant. It was almost like they carried the entire nation along, so much so that if you were trying to take advantage, because what was happening then was that everybody was using inflation as a excuse to increase their prices. We don't know what is happening in Kogi, and you might hear there's story there's gist that's in Egbeda, the bread has increased, so people would increase their prices here. So since there was the radio was broadcasted everywhere, everybody knew what the inflation numbers were. And they were announcing what the new currency was versus the old currency. So you knew exactly where everything was. And this is so key because everybody was carried along. The reform wasn't behind us. We didn't misunderstand it. It was painful.
We're doing that.
No. What I'm saying is this, right?
Yeah.
If I have to, for instance, dig to see that we've paid off our debt. I saw that we paid down the IMF number. That's even before the IMF's news came out that we paid back the money. When I was seeing that, I was like, yo, this, it was burning on the inside. And I feel...
But we were on a group together.
Now.
When I put that news out there, and you saw the conversations on...
Now.
Exactly. And based on the feedback from that group, was when I put it, I think April 20th or so.
Yeah.
I put it out in public before the government even announced it. And all through that weekend, up until Easter weekend, the few days after, it was arguments upon arguments upon arguments and notes, and people just kept distorting those things. And I'm happy you said Brazil was during the radio period. Bro, today people simply farm engagements. And the platforms are built to reward emotions
rather than
facts.
Facts. Yeah.
So what you find out is that on government communication side, more often than not, you're putting in so much effort, re-emphasizing what should have been a straight through communications. And then whilst you're doing that, you're leaving the room open for political communications and propaganda to come in by opposition. And then something else comes up. And then you find
but you could be afraid of that too.
So how do you fight propaganda?
Because we need to be able to take...
I think we should sit... Before we go there, we should sit here.
Isn't this also... Maybe we're looking at this wrongly, right?
Okay.
So, let's use subsidy as an example.
All right.
We've been saying for years that subsidy needs to go.
Had to go.
Yeah.
Okay. Then the former president puts it in the list, removes it from the budget, and the current president comes in and then announces it's gone.
It's gone.
Right? And then after a few months, it goes. Now, on a macro level, makes sense.
Yeah.
We see the benefit. We see that by taking the subsidy out, That's now even playing field, blah, blah, blah. That everything is works well. But for the guy
On the street.
yeah. All he knows is I used to buy fuel at $160 a gallon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't say,
liter.
please, can I what's in here? Don't say the guy on the street. Say those of us that are privileged.
I'm using it. Even
I will use those of
the
us
guy
that are
on the street
privileged
probably-
because I will respond to that when you're done. But let's say, let me just tweet it first.
Yeah. Maybe they probably even buy it at a higher cost. Who knows, right? So
Yeah.
was buying it at, I'm using that cost at that time, average cost of 160. In fact, in some parts of the country was 2 something that time, right? If you even see it. Okay. Now they are now buying it at 800-900 and then price have gone up. So how do you communicate or explain the economic benefit of that action,
the price of fuel
even
going
though
up?
the price
Yeah. How do you
has
say it's
gone
good
up?
for you, but it's gone up? Yeah.
Isn't that what the problem is?
That is
Yes.
it.
Exactly. So how do you communicate that?
I agree. This is the issue.
And so this is why
he's a great communicator. So
and
that's
this is
what I'm
why
saying.
I had to cut in and so I answered 2 things. You mentioned data and all those things. Data is very important. Being transparent is also important.
Yeah.
But it's a two-edged sword. You can say you want to be very transparent with data, and people do not understand the architecture
100%.
behind the data. Then you are looking for chaos. Now, we monitor, we analyze every piece of communication out there, even things that we have not put out there, sentiments and all that. Do you know the Nigerian, those at the bottom of the pyramid, were very happy with the subsidy removal?
How do you know that?
Majority, because I look at the data every single day.
How do you measure their
We have the
happiness
tools.
or confidence?
We have tools that measure sentiments based on, feedback.
By and large, feedback.
We also do
Okay.
research.
Okay.
Consistently every month. I commission research on different critical areas, including the president's, renewed hope agenda.
Okay.
We could see it, but guess where things stand? Which is why I said the educated few. When people like us, who should know better, who were not beneficiaries of the inefficiencies of the subsidy system, were joining those who were beneficiaries of the inefficiencies and who were rent-seeking in this country to denigrate that thing. Guess what? Mr. President was not the one that removed subsidies. By law, subsidies were removed when the budget for 2023 was designed. In fact, I remember when the Senate had their conversations on it, their debates, only about 8 senators stood up to say, no, do not do this now. Let the new government, whichever government was coming, and there were PDP senators, interestingly enough, let the new government come in and be the ones to make that decision as to, remove the subsidies or not. But the previous government said, no, there was no way Nigeria could not even sustain it. And they put a hard stop. Once these funds are finished, the subsidies naturally end. And they already ended by the time we came in. We could not even pay salaries for May and June 2023 if we had continued the subsidies. So
Interesting.
we did that.
It's not interesting. They need to hear it. They need to hear it. Because
educated class of
day I was saying that we
Nigerians.
don't get
And
money
which is
like
why,
that. They were
again,
insulting
I
me.
keep appealing. Every time I do an interview, I appeal to the media. The reason why the Nigerian media was fearless throughout, the military era was because you guys knew how to chase stories. You were not just relying on press releases from a government or press releases or sentiments from opposition or whatsoever. No. You would chase angles to the stories. When people tell me that, there are people not feeling it, macro level, I said, I don't really care about that. We have not done an excellent job, explaining things at the bottom of the pyramid, below a certain level.
Yeah.
But guess what? All the infrastructure projects that we are doing now as a result of freeing up some breathing space for us, what does that mean? What does that mean? It means more jobs. Especially, I keep repeating the bottom of the pyramid, especially for them.
Yeah.
By the time you drive from VI to Okwaja,
Yeah. That coastal road is
just look at the people that are working on that road.
pretty decent. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Those
as
are
in-
families being impacted. communities being impacted, revenues coming into places, stimulating local economies that would not have felt anything about government in years. That is happening.
So how then?
So that is our job now, which is what we have been. It's a conversation we had, I repeat, last week. We need to start telling those stories. Real people being impacted by this. Now we have no room to come and start talking about, things were bad like this in 2023 anymore. The president has said, see, that phase is done. We're out of triage, we're out of the emergency room.
Yeah.
We've stabilized sufficiently. We've put some structure to the
with that
stabilization.
in mind,
So we need to start communicating what next.
Fine, good. So macros in some instances looking well. Policies by and large really hard to disagree with a lot of the policies that we've seen. But on one hand, do you now have maybe one World Bank report or some reports out there saying Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world? Or maybe doing business in Nigeria is difficult. Or how do you deal with those kind of communication? Because that's a different kind of communication.
First, let me try to
so
be very
they are saying
cynical.
that they are doing their own survey.
Let me be cynical with that statement. So we can accept World Bank report that Nigeria is the poverty capital.
I'm not saying it was the World Bank. I can't remember who said that.
Or we can accept an international body's report that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world because they don't earn $3 per day. But we cannot accept that the Nigerian economy is one of the 10 largest, fastest growing economies, or one of the 10 economies that would, boost global GDP this year. But we cannot accept the World Bank, one of the World Bank MDs coming here and saying that what we have done in Nigeria is nothing short of a miracle.
So what's the disconnect then?
The disconnect is we just have to keep telling people the truth.
Yeah,
We just have to keep saying it. See, for as long as you have platforms that have not shown sufficient responsibility in managing how information is put out there, in checking the spread of misinformation and disinformation, the least we can do, at least from the government side, is to continue to bridge that gap between the historical trust deficit that people have had for their governments and what is going on now. So more truth, more facts, more data consistently.
But do you think we're throwing out enough data though?
We're not.
Exactly.
I'll be truthful
how do
to
we
you.
do that then?
We're not. But you see,
And when I say we, it's government or not, because we should have as much data as
when
we
I
can.
say we, I'm referring to the government. We are not. Because just like I said earlier on, we need to structure data properly so that you don't leave room for misinterpreting the data.
I'm still going to ask this question. I mean, it's more important than anything. I always believe. So I've said it on the show before. So if you think I'm just having a new epiphany because Otega is here, you want to go check previous episodes. So I see the person of the president. I've always seen him as very bullish in his ways of addressing issues. So very robust and very, robust, really, that's the word.
Is it robust as well or deliberate?
No, robust in terms of it is. So look at some of the things he did in Lagos. Now, people will say Lagos grew despite him, but if you look at the way he handled a lot of things, it was a bit, there were key things that really evolved in Lagos, at least in terms of governance. And I just kind of expected a lot of that. Now, here's my thinking. I don't know why I always expected that we were going to see Rwanda type him in front of reforms or him in front of business evolution, or Egypt's type him in front of, investments. A situation.
Isn't that what we're seeing now, though?
No, I don't think so.
I think reforms.
That's
have to
what.
come
That's
first. I think
so. The reforms.
He's saying reforms in the form of someone in the face of the reform.
Yes.
I think we're
in the face
lucky.
of the reform.
No, I don't think so.
I think we're lucky to have the president in his most matured phase
Why?
as a leader, and I'll tell you why. The cult of the individual has been Nigeria's biggest undoing
Okay.
since independence.
Well, that's a point.
we had always placed individuals over building structures, over building systems
Yeah.
that will outlive those individuals.
So is it like you mean individual like a hero
No, but you know,
worship type
but
yes.
structure?
But
that we
I
need?
disagree.
What the president has
I just
done,
cut myself now.
Yeah,
That's
like a
just
hero
that.
worship.
Yeah,
what the
yeah.
president
it's a
has
stretch.
done instead is buck that trend a little bit. It's still our,
So
it's still our diplomat in chief.
Yeah.
You
But
see,
he
But
seems
it's
to always be behind
establishments.
He always seems to be behind the.
I think so.
I think so. I know exactly
yeah,
what you mean. I
Let
know
me tell you why I
exactly.
don't think so. See, anybody that you speak to,
Yeah.
right, whether externally or here, about reforms, would always tell you that this is all around the president's
president's.
$1 trillion economy plan, right? And he's the one that said subsidies should go
ultimately
at the
because
end
he's
of
the
day.
president of
So
the Federal
yeah,
Republic.
exactly. So
Yeah,
I don't see how he's
what
not-
he's
let me
talking
say-
of,
You're not seeing a
let me
Trump
say-
style
what
character.
he's talking
You're
of.
not seeing a Trump style character.
Let me say this.
Is that what you're looking for?
Not
Yeah,
necessarily Trump.
yeah.
Not necessarily Trump.
No, but I'm just saying Trump is the-
adjacent. Trump adjacent. So what I'm saying is that what he has done. So for instance, like what he has done with the CBN Cardi B's conversation.
He's allowed Cardi B.
He's not been
Yeah, he's
involved
allowed
in it.
Cardi B to be the
what he's
monetary
done
agent.
with
Which
his
is what it
finance
should be,
ministry.
isn't it?
No,
No,
but
What he has done with look at all your regulators now.
is the regulator.
Yeah,
that's
it's the
face.
regulator that's
Normally,
doing
So
it, yeah.
what
in
Fuji was
Nigeria-
asking for,
Your regulators will be controlled by the executive despite their supposed
Yeah.
independence.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it was obvious.
For the first time
Yeah,
in a
that's
long
what I
time in this
understand.
country, you have a president that is not extending executive overreach.
So you're
Over
saying that.
regulators.
So a lot of all these regulatory pronouncement we're seeing, whether it's SEC, whether it's Bencom, CBN recapitalization, these guys were doing it, on
I
their own.
think it will help everyone, every Nigerian.
I don't know if they
So
were
go
doing
back-
it. I'm not
I think it will
sure.
help every
they were
Nigerian to
giving
go
room.
back to the
Yes.
president's
Yeah.
manifesto, which was very detailed. And, the policy directions, vision for the president. On all these lines, they were detailed. As a leader, your job is to say, this is what I want to do. This is how I intend to get there. But your job is not to push your personal,
Agenda.
agenda
Your
Yeah,
personal nuances to
over
yeah.
how
'Cause you trust-
things should actually work.
Yeah.
You should provide the necessary supports, executive supports, to those regulators,
Yeah.
those agencies and departments or ministries
Yeah.
to do their work.
Yeah, trust the people you've hired
And
to
then
do what they know how to do.
You should monitor them to ensure
That was what Buhari
compliance.
So
I didn't hear what you said.
so this thing you said, right? I was in Singapore recently, and I was telling the guy that was with me, I was like, "Yo, I've not seen a policeman. I've been here 10 days. I've not seen a policeman." He's like, they're in this police station playing Candy Crush, and he says, "You know why?" And I'm trying to understand the structure of the country, and it's like the president, I think the prime minister, he's ceremonial. That his job is shaking people.
Yeah, as a prime
That he
minister.
doesn't do anything.
Nothing.
He just
Yeah,
shakes
prime
people like,
minister.
because that's because they have institutions.
No, exactly. He was talking about the civil service and the structure of the country, that it runs itself. Now, I was talking to somebody today because there was the corruption report on, I think the something corruption report, Nancy's show. So the guy was talking about it, and he was talking to me, and he kind of opened my eyes to how we really need to build structures, because he was talking about if the civil service is the one holding the standard for how we, build roads, how we deploy regulations. If the civil service becomes the epitome of standard, then politicians will come and go. Nigeria will continue to move forward.
And if you think of leadership, the way I see leadership in my mind is that there's like a round table.
Yep.
Right. So you have, I like to imagine a king has his advisors, right? You don't just come and say this is what I'll do. Everyone says, hold on, that's not a good idea. We can do it this way, we can do it that way. And that's how I imagine this administration has gone, right? So you trust the heads of departments to do what they know how to do. But it's also a feedback loop. Where it's like,
Exactly.
okay, I have this idea, I have this vision, but this.
And that's you can see Adiza's
You're
unit.
very sympathetic to.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
No, I don't
not
think
I
it
don't
is.
like
I'm
the
not-
president, so that one is.
See,
I'm in trouble. I'm not sympathetic.
I am under 40.
I think
I am under 40.
No, so
By-
I'm trying to balance both things, right? As much as possible, I've seen reforms, and there's the reform side that is the hard, dirty reform stuff. That is what we're doing. Then there's the fluffy stuff, which
What's the fluffy stuff?
I'll explain.
Okay.
The fluffy stuff that we all don't like as the proper macro people, right? But the fluffy stuff always helps. Now, the fluffy stuff is like Rwanda. Rwanda putting Rwanda on Arsenal's
Or the
sleeves.
promo, the PR stuff.
You know that PR?
Exactly.
Fluffy.
So I think Ugo wants PR.
I'm not saying I'm not.
Also sponsor Arsenal.
What is the point?
Nigeria just had
That's
2 days.
Exactly. That's why
Nigeria just had 2 days of a national economic conference. You know,
that one now. Where's
Neck.
the data? Where's the info?
Bam.
We sent reporters there, but where's the meat of it?
why
Yeah.
didn't your guys?
We put out some things. I read it, but
you see, that's the thing.
I'm looking
So
for like
what
where
I'm
are
saying
the
is a lot of
reports?
laziness.
Yeah.
Because if you have searched through all the sessions, you would not have any gap in your clarity of this government's vision.
But also to Tunji's
Wait, let
point,
me-
so where's the real fluffy stuff?
We're getting there.
Where's
so
the
I asked this
Where's
question.
the sexy
I asked
stuff?
this question earlier on. With all the things that were hanging on our heads.
Yeah.
I'm a brands person.
Yeah.
2010, we were supposed to, shed brands Man United in my former company. I know how much we were supposed to spend then until the CBN scuppered the deal. Imagine you were to do a global branding campaign right now. You're spending
Yeah.
north of $200 to $300 million.
Yeah.
Fact.
That would not look good.
Might not be up
no,
to
but
that.
sometimes those things work.
That would
though.
not
So,
be up to that.
sometimes
Why is Rwanda doing it that we
I
can't
show
do it?
speed in
They
Ghana. Like sometimes those things
Exactly.
would
Those
work.
are some things.
Afghanistan,
But you
those
see,
things going
those
around.
things will come.
Sometimes
And this is
those
where we
things-
had an issue when Speed came here and
Yeah.
the relevant, those were the relevant, those that should have taken advantage of it on behalf of this country, not necessarily the government, didn't. It was a lost opportunity.
Whose fault is that though?
Well, I'll take part of the blame because, hey, I understand these things. I could have extended myself a little bit more beyond
Yeah,
my
mm,
primary
yeah,
role
100%, yeah,
to say, we need to do this.
Yeah, we need to put people around
But
that
we failed.
conversation. Yeah.
And I'm not ashamed to say we failed.
Okay.
But for me to be able to say this is because we have seen it. Now we know. Next time, I don't think that same thing would happen. But you see, I think we have gotten to that point where we can now confidently do the fluff, like you say, and not feel bad about it. And not feel that we will be judged by that. Imagine if we had started the Brand Nigerian campaign in 2023 when your fundamentals
Yeah.
had not been fixed.
Yeah.
Today, investors do not need that Brand Nigeria campaign to bring their money into Nigeria.
Yeah, Tunji needs to hear that because he
They've
doesn't seem to understand.
stability
Wait,
is
wait,
giving
wait,
them
what the fluff
I will not take this.
that stability and consistency
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
in government policy and courage, political courage, because that's one thing that keeps a lot of investors away from, low-income
Emerging
countries
markets,
and emerging
Yeah.
markets. They've seen it. And that's why even when Nigerians were refusing to bet on their own country, they put their dollars in. Now we are just waking up. And when I mean we, I mean locally, we are just waking up to, these opportunities. But there are people that have taken their bets
Yeah.
2 years ago. But it's not too late. Because the president was the first person to say, aside the liquidity challenges that we are facing, the emergency room phase is over.
But
The
Otega,
complaint phase is over.
Let me tell you
Now it's implementation.
Something
Now
else-
it's execution. Let's see who doesn't execute.
something else
Let's see what
that
minister
pisses
doesn't
me
do his
off,
job.
and I want to tell you this because you're in comms, right? I go to maybe budget office website, DMO website. You go to all these key government agencies, apart from CBN. Most of these websites have nothing. There's no information. There is no data, right? So you're there, you're trying to do a piece.
My brother, please off your mic.
No, but it's true though. It's true.
Off
It's
your
true.
mic.
100%.
You know,
I have to.
if you're outside there
Yeah.
are saying this, imagine me
On the inside.
who understands how or what to communicate
Yeah, especially
Using-
you that you need to communicate.
You need to come here.
using data.
Yeah.
Imagine what I go through or what my colleagues go through trying to get data. And then when you get that data, you have to triple validate across different
Multiple
agencies
agencies,
yeah.
and all those things, so that you don't want a situation whereby someone will say
egg on the
you
face.
have
Misrepresented.
chosen to misrepresent
Yeah.
data, even if it was an error of commission.
But
of,
you're not allowed in
you're not
areas.
allowed, you're not allowed
Allowed
within
in
space.
areas.
So yes, I agree with you, and we're working on an open government database. Which over the next few months we should complete. And what that basically does is, as a Nigerian, you can go there, get whatever data, historical data, current data, from things as simple as budget implementation to pulling data from customs, from trade, from your regulatory agencies
Exactly.
in one central portal.
Yeah.
Is that ever going to happen? Because that looks like a very,
Guess
very
what?
daunting project.
A lot of data, Nigerian data, is already public.
So what?
It's in public space.
So
Where?
speaking of
People don't
misrepresentation,
know, and I'll share
Okay.
with you, so that you can see it.
speaking
But
of
it's there.
speaking
What
of
people don't know is that maybe it's an unsaid thing where some people do not want Nigerians to have access to it. But guess what? Data saves you accountability, transparency, putting the information out there. You might think that you're protecting yourself now when you don't do that.
Actually not.
But in the long term, it actually protects you and enables people like you, unconsciously to even speak on our behalf without us knowing or without people knowing.
You need to see the way I felt when I saw that we had paid down the
Let me give you an
airlines-
instance.
airline
NNDPRA,
issues.
because of the nature of the downstream sector, for the longest time, they were never putting out the data there. So whenever there were issues in that space, it was always they said, you said, this one said. And because there's distrust in government, naturally the government regulator was always at the negative end
of the
of
narrative.
those conversations. And I remember when we got into office, I told a lot of this, critical agencies, so please just be publishing your data, even if it's on a monthly or bi-monthly or quarterly basis, just publish. Then I think sometime last year, in October, they started publishing the state of the downstream, midstream and downstream sector reports. Since then, I have not seen anyone argue along the same lines of arguments that we used to see.
Because now people are better informed, isn't it?
People are better informed.
That's it.
So now the conversations, and even when they had a crisis with one of the players, the conversations shifted from, they said, you said, this is your production, this is not your production, this is that. No, it shifted from that to something entirely different.
Okay.
Data preserves, data creates, proper use of data, proper dissemination of data, it builds trust. And that is what we need more than anything.
I also
Closing
remember.
that perception
I also
gap through
remember
trust.
when we had the conversations with Mayo, and Mayo spoke about the reforms and some of the things, some of the steps when you listen to Mayo, you kind of get what the CBN has been doing for a while. It's really interesting. But my own is, I still feel we need a chief noise maker about these things.
Isn't that what Otega is?
Yes, now, so, but you see, this is the thing, and this is, I don't know if it is a, because I'm feeling it from the government, and it's shocking, because I feel everybody, and I know their communication styles are not what I am seeing, right? And so
We need a total overhaul.
so
Just don't be politically correct.
the government, the president, his communication style has never been, I'll stand behind my people that I've sent to do the work. He's never been that person. I don't know, in Lagos State, in Senate, he's never been that person. Otega here, he's never been that person that sits, behind the data, making sure that it's. So I've seen these people be upfront and on the offensive when it comes to, publishing. Because the truth about it is, if Ugodre is the one having to dig into the data, right? It does paint the picture that he has been paid to do that.
To do the job.
You get. Now, if you then push it out and then Ugodre then analyzes it, it's something completely different. And Ugodre is able to say, I don't agree with these 2 numbers here, but then these 3 numbers make sense. But these 4 numbers we could have done better. In fact, this particular number is an indictment on the government. That is a balanced view, right? They did well here.
I actually love this approach, and I'm going to take it back.
They did well here. They did do real well here.
Yeah. And I can give you an example. I remember a number of occasions, but I think the one that is very recent, I think it was sometime late last year. We were looking at exchange rate data when we closed. No, it was actually early this year when exchange rate closed at the end of the year, and we reported that it was the first time that the naira was closing stronger than it opened in 13 years. And a few days later, because I hardly go on X these days, I went on X. I just saw a lot of notifications and people.
They don't pay.
Yeah, they don't pay and all that kind of stuff. And I guess that's what. So that is actually, and the data exists. It's just that we dug into it and we have like this data all the way back. So we went in, we do a lot. Like today now, we noticed, yesterday, I think Naira closed at the highest point since May 2024, something like that. So we see all those things. So to his point, which is what you're saying, is there's got to be more of that data. And I'm happy you said that there's a portal coming out, because when that portal comes out, then everybody can go there and interrogate the data. So it's not like it's just...
The issue
but I still think for now, though, because speaking of representation of data, there's still a lot of fake news, I'm sure, even more than ever, right? And not everyone will... Like this Ekiti State thing that came out.
Yes, that was so shameful.
Right. Not everyone...
And the $600 million... Do
you understand? Not everyone will now go to, wow...
So how do you correct things like that immediately?
And
so
why? And it feels like you're not correcting.
I think my phone is there. You see,
and it feels like you're not correcting.
Now we have to start
things.
correcting. No, we correct quite often. Like I said, there's
it's like fact checking. So how do you? Yeah. So
because I don't have time to go to the whatever website.
So
right.
There was this funny page on Twitter that 2 days ago. This thing that you mentioned now, they said Nigeria only had 500. Non-oil exports from Nigeria was $500 million in 2025. Actually, data was $6.1 billion. That information had always been out there.
Yeah, we have
NEPC
it in the...
reported it.
Not just it's even in the MBS data now.
Yes, NBS reported it.
Yeah.
We did. In fact, Cocoa alone, I think by third quarter had done $1.5 million.
Yeah.
I mean, billion. So when you see people put things like that, you are wondering. And what I did is, because I knew the initial data was already out there, we had people who actually came out to correct that. And then we kept monitoring. The moment we realized that it was taking another angle, what did we do? This is an infographic that has been done to put everything in perspective. This was done in the first 6 hours of that thing coming out. But we're just waiting to see, okay, are there new information?
Is the camera seeing that?
I guess you do.
It's there. It's very clear. Fact check. Nigeria's 2025 non-oil export performance, 6.1 billion all-time high.
Okay, but
the highest in 50 years.
Yeah, so Otega, even if you put this out, like you said, that thing it's gone viral again, whatever. Yeah.
But
so where does things like Grok come in then? Isn't Grok meant to like... Is that not what like it does?
Grok is garbage in, garbage out. It is what is out there.
So what corrects it?
There's a lot of re-engineering. And that's why it's also important to sometimes pre-bunk news. The reason why Grok can correct some of these news, like this one, for instance, when people ask Grok, it told them the correct thing.
Yeah, because
out there. We had the data out there before this misinformation came out. Yeah. That's pre-bunking.
Yeah.
It does not necessarily have to come from government platforms, which is why I strongly believe we need open access to data.
But do you then call the media houses when this fake news comes to say, oh, this is coming out, but this is the real news?
So we all have
real data.
Aside the formal channels,
right? Yeah.
Aside the formal channels that we use to communicate the proper things to them, we also have our individual relationships. There are times when I see maybe a reporter on your end, put up something, maybe because they do not really understand the context of some data or information they're putting out there. I call my friends within your organization and I say, see, this is the context. One thing I've never done all through my career is force any media house to
Take down.
kill the news. I won't.
Take notes, all you business owners.
You know, and I think that's why I have a
That are always
decent.
calling me to take
That's why I
down
have a
something.
decent relationship with a lot of you.
my own
That's
problem
why-
is, see, I don't know him. All you
The
people that used
most
to call me
important thing, the
to
best
call
thing you
Ugo
can
to
do,
take down
even when
story,
the
I
media
don't know
house
it.
puts
I
out
don't have
something
any
wrong,
idea.
is send out the correct thing,
Yeah.
hoping that they would use their editorial judgment
To do it
Yeah.
properly.
to do it properly. But me, I don't say pull it down. I say put up a new thing, explaining
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
The
that
difference.
that Ekiti State one was actually
that. It
quite
was embarrassing.
embarrassing because, interestingly, I think was, so somebody in my team saw it on X and put it on IG as well. We didn't even see it. So we got told. So my research team had to look at it like,
That doesn't
where's
make
this from? So even the guy was like, so because typically if research, we have a research team that would usually dig up data,
Yeah.
analyze, we edit, proof it, and then it goes on. So like, what's the source of this? So everybody in research started running around like, what's the source
Couldn't
of
find
this,
it.
this data? And it turns out it was picked up from one handle on X.
Random handle.
Yeah, and then put
It's
up.
not a
So
random
yeah.
handle.
Yeah, apparently not,
Apparently it's
but
not
I
a
thought
random
it was.
handle.
But
Yeah,
apparently
I mean,
it's actually a handle that a lot of people actually follow as well. So no, without prejudice to whoever it is that
But
posted
has
that thing,
been also
but
known to
we had to take it
provide-
down as well. Yeah,
I don't
Yeah.
call it. I don't. This is
Disinformation.
actually disinformation.
yeah. So it's kind of I mean, the age of social media, it can be very
But
difficult.
it's also
to
the
gather
onus
a
is
lot of
also
these
on
things.
you guys now because you have
Yeah.
a responsibility to make sure
Yeah.
that the research is done properly. Like when you see it on Twitter, you should
Yeah.
call.
Why do I feel like you're also
Exactly.
talking to government?
That's why I told you. That's why I told you. I know this. Anyway, so how do you deal with? Another thing I wanted to bring up as well is this one. I sometimes I really don't know, how to view it. Like most government, president surrogates on social media, most people who manage government handles, when they are basketballing with people, the abuse is crazy. So is this a social media age, or is it that someone can't just be matured about things? I mean, I know you say, well, Trump to abuse everybody and all that stuff, but where is the balance? Where is the maturity?
Unfortunately, that was the example I would have used.
So but shouldn't there
because
be
I
some
work
kind
in
of maturity?
government, I have to be very diplomatic as to call in, another sovereign's leader. Yeah, but you see, what we're learning, and I think it will be studied in years to come as a model for leadership in political office. And
Just to go on the offensive and
history
defensive.
might even be kind to him. And I'll tell you why. In an age where all you need is an affinity to someone or a platform that aligns with your hatred of something.
And then you get amplified.
That's all you need to amplify any negative news about that thing you hate. It's simple. It has nothing to do with truth. It has nothing to do with facts. It's all pure
Not even
vibes
perspective,
and
yeah.
emotions. Unfortunately now, again, this comes back to platform responsibility. A lot of these platforms, the algorithms,
Yes.
so it's algorithm farming.
Yeah. It's unfortunate.
Even if your family might be affected back home by what you're putting out there, nobody cares.
So I want to ask this because I'm curious.
But I
to
think
know.
that way, sometimes I think, maybe we should start considering it in Nigeria.
Considering what?
Go on the offensive.
Does it work?
But guess
it
what?
work? Does it
So
really
the truth
work?
is that, unfortunately or fortunately, my principal, President Tinubu, is a very focused guy. You can't distract him when his eyes are set on something. So that alone gives us confidence, knowing that, okay, I mean, you can keep running your mouth, but the work is going to get done. If you bring constructive criticism to the table, we'll take it on board. And I keep using the students' loan as an example. We signed the first act. There were a lot of exclusions. The routes to even getting getting the loan was extreme. You know, you had to bring a level 14 or so officer, this and that. And we could see we were monitoring this information. We could see all the, data sets coming in. And we put it on the table. This thing went back to the National Assembly. It was debated in 1 week. It came back. The moratorium for students to pay back and everything. All these things were included. People in technical colleges and all that, they were included. They were not there in the initial law. So imagine if we had listened or just, went on the offensive about that. And then you have a principal who, as long as the criticism makes sense and has, material impact on the people, positive impact, he'll do it. If we had gone on the offensive, we'll be shit-faced by the time everything was done.
So I want to ask, the $1 trillion economy narrative, how do we get there? Because I saw somebody share a document on...
More like, do you actually believe it though?
No. Whether we believe it is on... We need to read the document. Because if the document says...
Is there a document?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was going to... So if... Is there?
Like that is the pathway to the 1 trillion. Never seen it before.
So if the one...
that's part of what I'm saying.
Even part of the conversations at the NEC conference that we just had.
Yeah.
It's basically that, without not necessarily saying that.
So is there the question is there a document to this effect? Has there been a forum where somebody actually explained it? Because a lot of the first line people that will understand such a document are people like Arnold. The analysts and people who will speak to foreign investors and things like that, and they will be able to then translate it. Then I think I'm the second line set of people who are business operators who then want to see how they can plug into such a $1 trillion economy. My question is, first of all, if the document exists, who's going to read it to us? Who's going to present it? It doesn't, I'm not saying go through every fine detail, but because what I saw, somebody shared it on social media. It wasn't very. It said
you
something
also have
like,
to be very careful what you say on social media. Exactly.
I didn't take that.
But it's not public. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
not public, exactly.
Public. But you see, for me, like I said, we had to fix the issues, the foundational issues. That's been fixed.
Yeah.
We're looking to get to a $1 trillion economy by when?
2031.
Exactly, which is 4 years.
Yeah.
The plan that was done at NEC the last 2 days was a 4-year growth plan.
Okay.
But guess what? If the people who are going to implement this thing, and don't forget the president's speech on the first day said, see, we have moved to the implementation and execution stage. There's no room for errors anymore. No room for complaints on our side anymore. The people that are going to do it are the first people, to be there. And these are all members of NEC, the subnationals, states and local governments, FEC members, your ministers. All of them did their presentations. So I think we should wait.
So is there going to be a communique for
that's
next meeting?
what coming out. Okay. So we should wait for the communique to come out.
All right.
But guess what? At the end of the day, the president has already made it clear what this thing is going to be built on. We're no longer looking at infrastructure as, bridges and everything. We're looking at infrastructure in terms of food security, the rural economy.
Okay.
And he mentioned certain things. He mentioned irrigation. He mentioned housing. And what do those things do? It's not about, prosperity and everything. It's about dignity.
Yeah.
You give people dignity, they can move mountains for you.
Absolutely.
What's the yield per hectare in Nigeria? Imagine the number of Nigerians farming. If we could improve productivity, and productivity improvement is not just in farming alone. And I think this is one of our biggest issues as a country. And this is the public health side of me speaking, because I studied, if we could improve productivity, whether in public service, that is a civil service, or in our rural economy, which has about 70% of our farmers. And then those in the private sector, in community-based, groups and everything, can then start looking at the supply chain and the value chain of those agro industries.
Yeah.
The government is providing the main infrastructure, irrigation, agricultural extension services, inputs, that work with our with our weather and everything. I mean, we went to Brazil. Now they're bringing in cotton varieties that we can easily grow here, because we've been talking about textiles for years, but nobody has actually said, is the cotton being grown in Nigeria commercially viable for textile production? Now we're discussing with Brazil, the cotton coming in, we can grow it year round.
And that takes us into next question. President travels a lot, right?
It's not traveled enough.
It's not traveled enough.
Yep, I would say so.
Really?
I would say so.
I kind of agree.
What?
Wait, you compare it to Buhari. That's why you're
Compared
getting
to
would say
he's
so.
traveled
For
you don't think he's
someone who knows where the country needs to be, for someone that has delivered these results in such a short time, without, like you said, rightly said, without bailouts, without ambassadors, without a lot of things.
He needs to be
on
going
the
to do deals
basis
everywhere.
of
So
what
but
he's doing.
what have we gotten from some of these trips then?
What have we gotten?
Yeah.
Should we start from the start?
We wanna hear it.
We've gotten greater partnerships in security. Our security challenges are not a Nigeria problem alone, they're a global problem. Today, in the last year alone, at least I can speak about 2025 data. I don't have Q4 beginning of 2026 data. You had about 15,100, what's the name? Terrorists killed or eliminated on the battlefield.
But a lot of Nigerians are
Hold
still being
on.
killed every day though.
Of course they are. And this is not to, minimize their pain. Don't get me wrong. But we also know that when security response is ramped up, you begin to see terror groups apply guerrilla tactics and haphazard acts, negative acts against the citizens to create more fear. They're on the losing end. Go to your courts today, aside the special courts, and see how many people have been, prosecuted for terror-related offenses. The president said it. Even kidnapping now is a terror offense in Nigeria. You will be caught and you'll be tried as a criminal, as a terrorist. This is not Nigeria.
Okay, so security,
Security, and you can see the equipment, the army, the navy, the air force. I mean, Nigeria's navy is now number one in Africa. They are better equipped now because of those trips. Agriculture. We have the tractors that have come in from Belarus in such a short time that nobody expected. I mean, where do you get people to produce?
Wait. What kind of tractors are? You see my point again? I didn't know.
We didn't know. Yeah, so this is like
You see my point
exactly.
again?
No,
This was like, this was like,
cannot say
this is like 2 years ago. Yeah.
but we didn't know.
I didn't know.
I didn't know the year-on-year change in security.
What are you reading? What are you watching these days?
I'm watching Netflix.
So those kind of trucks.
But that's in the news.
Look what
though,
kind of
so-
trucks are those? Because when I hear trucks, right, I'm
Tractors.
thinking those tractors, right? I'm thinking you've been to Cape Town, right?
Yeah.
Right. When you're driving past like the
The proper
countryside.
tractors with the old nine.
Yeah, those things. Those
The
tractors.
transformer tractors.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my point, okay, so fine, tractors and all that. Okay. At the end of the day, the question then is, okay, so they brought in tractors. What?
No, I'm saying, see,
okay,
name
go on.
any area. You can,
So
the beautiful
what
thing
was
about
the KPIs? So if you've brought in tractors, what was it meant to contribute to the economy in general?
That is
That
where the
information
communication
needs to be shared.
Yes, and I'm happy you're saying this. And
Yeah.
again, like I said something, I'm not here to come and say
Yeah.
we have been perfect in our approach to comms or anything. No. I'll be the first to acknowledge that there are gaps.
Yeah.
But bro, I don't know, let me just speak freely. It's not been easy.
Yeah, I get that.
It's not been easy.
What's the most
Sometimes,
difficult part of the job?
what is the most difficult part of the job?
Not being
Good
able
job
to
so far.
just tell the person.
Stop it, bro. Stop it.
You knew me when I was in private sector.
Yeah.
No.
I was never sleeping. I was traveling above 200 days a year for work.
The only
But
thing,
then-
the one thing I know, the
we
one
see they meet outside.
on the side note, though, the one thing that I can always point to that is quite different from, I don't know if it's still there, but it's not like, Otega private sector, it's like, you know, the DAPA was on.
It's still,
Ten-
it's still
you
a
know,
DAPA
you know,
now.
I'm near.
He's
Yeah,
not
now
more
it's tired.
relaxed.
No.
he's not more relaxed.
No.
That DAPA was like, you know.
So I got there and I removed my tie in the car because I had to go look at all your videos. I'm like, who has ever called?
Who was ties? Nobody was ties. Nobody was ties. Yeah, nobody was ties.
In fact,
We'll cut it. We'll cut the
I
tie.
even unbuttoned my first button, tried
Yeah,
to.
but on the show.
I'm like, nope, check out this is not your style and everything.
I want to tell. Anyway, one other thing I wanted to talk about Otega
Yeah.
is there are a lot of people, a lot of like strong supporters of the president
Yes.
on social media as well. That
And I thank them a
some
lot.
people-
They've made
yeah.
our job easy.
No, fine, but some people also claim they misinform, right? Yeah, some people claim they misinform as well. There was one I saw today from Reno. I think he was talking about this. I mean, even though we don't really talk politics or drinks and mic, but he was talking
No,
about the
that's fine.
election and all that stuff, about some clause that they should have taken out. I don't want to go into the. So, how do you deal with those guys? And
Misinformation is
When they
misinformation.
misinform.
Whether
What-
it's
so, do they have
government
their-
side,
How do you cope with that?
you call it out. The
Like,
same
do
way
you
I
do
would
that?
call
Do you
out-
do that?
Of course
That's
I
the thing.
do. Maybe
Okay.
that's why I'm not, that liked. I mean, in certain circles.
Yeah.
But the same way I will call out an opposition person for spreading misinformation, and it's the same way I'll call out a government person who is doing that. More often than not, before you see me even come out to challenge anybody openly, I've either read out directly or read out through intermediaries.
Okay. Yeah.
Like,
To provide
this thing,
you
pull out
with-
now, pull out now. You know,
Yeah.
You know, to provide you with
Let me true facts.
competing facts and data.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when I see that you continue to
But so you
misinform-
engage. So, for example, that
Well, he says
handle,
he
that
does.
Twitter handle will mention now that
Yes.
post. So, have you engaged them to say, look, we're seeing you're pushing out a lot of information. Some of your information are probably misrepresented,
Okay.
and all that. So, do you engage them to try and maybe educate or try and
Again.
explain?
Again.
Is that part of your ambit or not?
somewhat. But again, I told you, I said there's a framework
Yeah.
that we use to determine what needs
To be responded
to be responded
Responded
to or not.
Because sometimes
I mean,
too,
you were talking
you
about
waste
what
your
someone
energy.
said about the Electoral Act. At this point, it's not an executive conversation. It's a Nigeria conversation,
Yeah.
but it's not an executive conversation yet. It's currently in front of the National Assembly. Anybody, and you see, when I see some of the takes online, I'm like, hey, we are complaining that we are not participative enough in governance. Meanwhile, your National Assembly, which is a representative of 300 plus people or more, who are elected by different. So your constituency here, you have someone that is representing you there. Do you even know where your constituency office is? Have you gone there to demand the number of your representative?
No, I don't.
And then when
I don't
things-
used to play golf. Tunji needs to like.
So
go
that's
to
the
the
thing.
gym.
It's easy for us to come online and complain.
I don't like.
But to insert ourselves in the process to get what we want, we are not doing it.
But some people prefer to do it online.
By the way, the guy that represents my
Let the
constituency comes to my
legislature
gym.
do their job. And every Nigerian has an opportunity to, influence that process.
Yeah.
If you choose not to, that's fine.
Yeah.
Making noise online might not swing it in your favor. But you have more power focusing on the one person that you have his re-election in your hands.
Yeah.
It's strategy.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
Impressed. The way you
Yeah,
you made
I
a
don't-
face like
No.
We don't want to do the work, but we want the outcome.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
When it
I
comes
don't
to
like
Mr.
it
President's
that-
table, Mr. President will
Yeah.
make an executive decision,
yeah.
based
But
on the best
isn't it
interest of
important
Nigeria.
to know what the president's take is in such a very important discussion? I mean,
Nigeria operates. Nigeria has 3 arms of government.
yeah.
And they're very distinct by the we're a constitutional democracy.
Yes, no, but legislation at the end of the day,
There are some
still
legislation
requires
that the
president's
president
accent, right? So
will-
if the president is not favor or doesn't like,
I've been trying to go around this conversation, my brother. but and I know it's especially around these electoral acts.
I know. So
at the end of
I
the
didn't
day,
want to go
there
because
are
we don't
things
do
that we can
politics that
see.
much.
No,
Yeah.
there are things
but
we
the
can
reason why I
see.
brought it up was I'm saying when you have like things like that? Because there have been a lot of legislations around the economy. And a typical example was the FIRS one, the tax one, I beg your pardon.
Yeah.
That, you know, the debate was on and immediately the act is passed. Everybody starts to now make noise.
Yeah.
And then you now have Tayo Odele going from one place to the other every day, talking and all that kind of stuff. So,
Explain.
Yeah, explain.
And what have we seen since the act commenced?
Explain.
We've seen the same people that were, you know, complaining about these acts coming back to say, oh, even without a salary increase from their employers, they are getting more money in their pockets.
Some people.
A lot. I see the
Not
data.
me.
You know, we are seeing many people, and you can, as I said, when we are talking, a lot of times we mistake.
people.
We are not the 1%, but we are also not the 90%. We mistake our opinions for the opinions of the 90%, and it's just ego. We are looking down at them.
Does the president go to social media sometimes? Does
He sees everything.
But I'm assuming he sees
Really?
it through you as well, right?
He sees everything.
by himself? Like he scrolls.
I repeat, Mr. President is very aware.
What does he like? What does he like consuming more? What does he like reading?
Maybe when next I have an opportunity to sit with him, I'll tell him to speak on this directly. But he sees everything. You know, there are times when sometimes even we miss certain things and
he sees them.
and our platforms don't even catch certain things. And you see information coming from his office.
Interesting.
This needs to be attended to.
What's his favorite? Is it X? Is it Facebook? I mean, there are some that prefer Truth Social. You know the ones that prefer Truth Social.
No, but is it just because I always assume that he sees it through a filter?
The work, no.
I just assume he sees it through a filter.
We are not going to. Imagine if I had to give the president a filtered report. I'm a candidate for a sack.
Interesting.
And I think the day anybody does that to him, they should sack the
But
president.
does he when things are being tweeted from his handle, does he have to like sign it off or
Proof.
Mr. President signs off things that tweeted from his personal handle. There's an official
official
handle,
protocol, yeah.
NGR president.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's his personal handle.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they both serve distinct
Different,
purposes.
yeah.
What's the difference? Though?
NGR president speaks from the seat of the president. One is the office of the president. The other one is his own personal handle.
So when does he put out his own personal stuff?
That is the president. The prerogative of the president.
So is it when he's dealing with maybe when he was because I mean there's
So let me use the tax laws for instance.
Yeah.
Once they were passed, you know, we could see the misinformation and disinformation flying out there and everything. And the video was done. I actually did a video with Taiwo Idele. It was meant to go on the NGR president handle. And they saw it and immediately we told he put out a statement pushing that video out. Because for the first time, even Taiwo was able to clarify to as broad as possible, to a court of Nigerians as broad as possible, within, I think, 4 or 5 minutes, everything about the tax laws. Guess what? December came, and I was just seeing that video making the rounds. A lot of people were sending me from their churches, oh, they use this video to teach them in church. You know, it's just question and answers. I think about 10 questions or so. I can't really remember.
Yeah.
Well, you say, again, the seat of the president in a country like Nigeria, you can't use Western leaders, you know, the way in which they use social media too.
Yeah.
So there might be something critical happening right now, but because there's a terrorism incident somewhere in the country,
Yeah.
what?
How do you
what-
balance that? Yeah. But somebody
Yeah,
needs
so
to keep
even
us
like-
going. Somebody needs to keep us going, though.
See, what I will say is follow the official pages. You have NGR presidents on Twitter, you have Nigeria Gov on Twitter, you have the Aso Villa on Instagram, Facebook.
just carried my phone at you, now I'm not following
You know,
So
But if you
But I
find
need
if you
to.
find
I
the
will.
social media platforms too difficult,
Yeah.
just go to your what do you call it? Your WhatsApp. Go to the channel side, you know, check
interesting.
and search and search for
that's the one I use.
check for State House. State House
I
NG.
worry
But still,
well.
it's probably not as
Or the
as-
Aso Villa.
Yeah.
Or Nigeria Gov.
Yeah.
Actually,
on the
there's
WhatsApp channel.
nothing you see on any other. In fact, you even have extra information there that sometimes are not appearing on any of the other platforms. Because you have information from, not just from the presidency now. The way we look at comms now is not only the president, the VP, and the apparatus in the presidency. We also look at FEC. Because they are parts
of
that mandate that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu carries. So you see information there, and see we are open to doing better.
You do a lot of these surveys, though. But from your surveys, do you think like a lot of Nigerians love the president? Do you think they love
Out of 100%,
when we came in,
percentage?
when we came in and he made that famous speech, day 1 or day 0, the approval ratings were through the roof, especially amongst
where is the ratings from?
among Nigerians. You have go and check your independents. Those that do independent data, data analysis. There are people that actually run this approval rating.
Really?
Yeah, you have about 4 of them.
Are they
Yeah.
are they like credible?
Well, look at it.
rating agencies?
Who's NY?
I'm not mentioning names. I'm not saying whether they're part of it, but you have a couple of them, and then you have even some international ones that do. We went up, but we also have our own tools that we use to measure sentiments. All these data points come in, and without our own influence or inputs, we can see it. And it went through the roof because a lot of people felt, and that's my thoughts, that, finally, those that have been chopping our commonwealth, they've cut their legs. And they've plugged that hole. That was the thinking of the man on the streets. Not that, fuel prices they were willing to take that hit. As long as... a lot
more when Dangote
So
came
why
into the
why
mix,
why
they
then
said,
does
"We're gonna bring it
negative
down."
news negative news move faster?
The only thing...
that's human sense.
That's
it's human
we like
nature.
negativity.
The
That's
only thing...
it's human nature.
You
We
have
like
a
negativity.
relationship
You
now
see-
between
like-
likability and
That's not
virality.
new.
of the
That's
news.
human
Bro,
nature.
that's not
That's
new.
human
That's-
nature.
yeah,
You
that's
see,
true.
someone
We like
says something
negative
again.
news.
The only thing, you see all of us sitting down here, let's not be too comfortable. We are one... Please cut this. But bro, and this is off record, we are one protest or one revolt away from nobody will care whether it's you or it's me. Look at when the South Africa thing happened and they were rioting on this Lekki road. They were jumping on everybody's cars. As long as you were not a downfall. Even if you had the Uber Corolla, they were jumping on your cars and breaking it. Those people on the road, those people like that, they are not us. Let's not make that mistake.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So those people, are we back on now?
Yeah, we can be back on now.
So the people that are like at the lower end,
Yes.
which we know that
Many of them are happy with the president. I'll
think
say
they
that,
are?
and I can tell you why.
that sounds political.
You see, no, I'll tell you why. Midway into our government, things became bad. You get it? Because of, FX price increase, four prices went to 1.4, 1.5. And Tell me when last in this country you saw prices go up and come down. Since you've been born. And you're an old man. I'm the youngest in the room.
Oh my God, I cannot take this.
Finally, someone's calling me. Finally.
I couldn't tell your age because you shamed everything.
I'm younger than you.
These are my junior brothers.
I'm really reporting on this table.
Go on.
So permit me to speak like this. But Nigerians, in front of them, fuel prices came down.
Yeah, but it hasn't come down to the level that they want. That's what they're saying.
Well, it's coming now. Competition and open markets.
Yeah.
It's allowing things to come down to what is right for this country.
They particularly
Let's go to food
I haven't
stuff.
seen you this quiet.
I'm enjoying this conversation.
The price of rice, a bag, went to 120,000.
Yeah.
Because people were blaming everything on
but it
fuel.
went
I don't
up
know how
first
fuel
before it came down.
became
How
the
much
price.
is it now? I don't know.
Between 55 and 70.
God, dude.
I'm
How
sorry,
much is
sir.
money?
God, where?
How much is money?
You don't know how much the bag of rice is. There we go.
Where the rice is currently between,
show where your house
it's currently between 55 and 70,000.
The orders in now.
This is not what I was saying. I was trying to.
Now, a lot of people will say, maybe it's because the macros are okay and everything. But guess what? People forget the most important thing. A lot more Nigerian farmers, many of whom were internally displaced in the past years, have returned back home.
Where is the
of
data?
3.8 million Nigerians that were internally displaced, you have over 2.1 million.
Really?
That report. Yes,
Yeah,
and look
this
at
is-
where
this is
again.
information from-
I am
We don't
saying,
see
hold
this,
on, hold on.
yeah.
I'll provide you with the
not
hard
audio.
bro. I'll provide you with the hard data,
I want to see it.
Yeah.
and you go and say it,
see,
and
that's
you
the
go
thing.
and
We-
verify.
all this
But you
And
see,
see, we don't see it. We don't
you
have
see,
access to this.
bro,
We don't see it.
You've known me now all this while.
Yeah.
Never in my career, never in my life have I had to provide you with fake data. And I'm not saying,
course, that's why I
I'm not
said I
saying
gotta
do
say it.
trust me, bro. Yeah.
Trust me, bro.
I'm not saying do that.
for you.
I will provide you with the data.
Yeah.
You will send your people to the fields if you can and verify.
Yeah.
But you have more food coming down. Now you can see it in food inflation
Yeah, you can see
numbers,
it with
bro.
GDP,
You can see it in
How to
GDP, you can see it
that
in
one you can say,
outputs.
yeah.
That is not Otega. That is not this. Even if you do not believe the numbers of people returning back home,
Fine,
it's there.
fine.
Where's the food coming
Fine.
from?
So how does, I mean, you've also been in circles, presidential circles and all that. You've been in some of these meetings. What's the feelers from them in terms of wages? I know we've increased minimum wage, but people still think, even check a lot of data, even GDP
Bro,
per capita
do you know how
and all
much my
that.
salary is?
Exactly.
Don't even let me.
Yeah,
Don't let me say it now.
Yeah, I know a DG of a regulator that the salary is less than $1 million. In fact, most of them is less than $1 million.
It's
So how
public,
do they
it's
cope
public information. Even
Exactly. So how do you expect wages?
No. Wait. So, wait. Anyway,
Since just found out
Oh,
DG
yeah,
as
so let me tell you. And this is no, but you see, this is why I said at the beginning that $3 a day conversation using to judge extreme poverty is highly debatable and should be rejected.
So what should it be then?
The same way Africa is rejecting, credit rating agencies and
So what
their
should we use
metrics.
then? So what should we use?
Look
What's
here.
the-
Let's look at it. What is $3 a day in Naira terms?
That's like
Let's do the
5K.
calculation here. 5K. In a month, that's 150K.
Mhm.
Are you telling me that there are people, in this country, if I pay you 150,000 in this country, a lot of people, you can live a decent life.
So if that's
I'll
bottom of
tell
the
you.
pyramid.
I'll
Yes.
tell you, one of my staff earns just that amount. After everything, that is a stake home. The day his mother heard, she called me on the phone and was praying for me. I just couldn't understand. Yes, I give him tips here and there. But she said, he's just out of school. She was thinking he would be earning maybe 80, 90K. And she believed that would be enough for him.
Isn't that what they call poverty mentality?
It's not poverty
No,
mentality,
no,
bro.
how
You see,
about-
we're looking at
Yeah,
bottom of the pyramid. We're looking at basic things.
So
We're looking at basic things.
You're pushing against an
basic
open
needs.
door, right? Because there was this post we put out one time where we said $1,000 abroad versus 1.5 million naira in Nigeria. Who lives better? And of course, we know the answer, but there was somewhere saying, well, fine, the person abroad also has access to a lot of things. So in Nigeria, we're just some people will tell you you're just one health scare away from poverty. You're just one
Mishap away
from
poverty.
living, so there are no
True.
buffers.
True.
We can't deny that, right?
But you said the thing with also income elevation or increases as we want is that price of goods and services also move alongside that. If you do it too quickly, then people will not be able to pay for these things. No matter how fast the income grows, you will still be one step away from that. The only reason why, even our Nigerian hospitals take care of a lot of foreigners, as bad as we think they are, is because this is still one of the cheapest healthcare ecosystems in the entire world.
So the context to a lot
So
of this
it's a very nuanced conversation. I don't want us to delve into
It
that.
is. It is.
We should.
I agree. And
But
that's
what I'm
why-
saying is, Nigerian families, especially at the bottom of the pyramid, can take care of themselves with way less than that $3 a day. then don't also forget that we are not a credit economy yet, even though we're trying to move towards that.
Which is where I was going to go to next.
We're still a
How
very,
do we
very
get
much
there?
cash-based economy. We're getting there
Because
already.
I've seen the president. It does. The
So
only thing.
let me tell you the strategy.
What I like about the only thing I like, well, I like a few other things about the president, some of his policies, but to me, some of his best policies, which is actually not much talked about, is the policy around credit and how he's
because you
know,
can't
credit
get to
guarantee
1
company
trillion
and all this. So
without
how
that.
are you guys driving that?
You're looking
Why
at it.
is that not
So-
conversation not deep enough?
You're
within
looking-
the private
you're looking
sector?
at the conversation-
Why can't you just say, you know what? Come to our bar, we'll lend you 100K.
We will not let you.
I will say this here. Suji knows me. And when he started our bar, I was one of the people that puts my eyes in it.
Did you put your pocket?
I will leave him to answer that question. I'm sure you saw the way I was smiling when he walked into the room.
The stock didn't pay for itself.
Because even at the point, I'm sure I was getting frustrated. I'm like, when will the government do what is necessary? Because that was such a beautiful product. You know, it was solving for things that big corporates will never have been able to solve. And yeah, it was grinding almost 8 years now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand?
suffered.
Wow, yeah.
It's five years plus.
Five
Yeah.
plus, yeah.
We also
Is it just 5?
2019.
Yeah, it's five.
five.
It's because he's been suffering for long. That's why. It looks like it's 10
But
years.
guess what?
See my beard.
This is not a political conversation, but under what administration were you able to finally get it done?
Oh, please.
Oh,
please.
No, let me blow my president's trumpet.
There's only one person I give the details.
Don't even annoy me for that. I'll collect our dreams.
Let me go back to this talk about credit.
Yes, credit.
To get to 1 trillion economy, you have to do credits. And not just credit to the manufacturers and everything, because I believe manufacturing and agriculture is always going to really get us there.
Yeah.
But do we have the requisite credits, knowledge, or education as a people?
Infrastructure.
The president, in his wisdom, approved the students' loan. Do you know what that has done? Now almost 1 million Nigerians have applied. About, I think, 800,000 are currently on the loans. They are learning the responsible use of credits from such a young age.
But they're paying back.
No,
You get a 2-year moratorium, or whether you get a job out of school, whichever
So the
comes
jobs,
first.
yeah, okay. So the company pays back.
You understand? So you're learning the responsible use of credits. Now, when those people come out, you have Credit Corps, which is the retail side of the equation. You know, providing, credits to small businesses, medium-scale businesses, and everything, and even individuals, as the case may be. And also, counterpart funding to lenders to be able to provide credits to stimulate the economy. And then above that, you have the Nigerian Credit Guarantee Company that does more big-ticket transactions, that looks at, sector-wide interventions, lending and all that, and guaranteeing those, borrowings. It's a whole cycle.
Yeah.
If we don't get credit right, Nigeria will enjoy the benefits of a credit economy for a couple of years, and then you'll see whole sectors or industries going bust.
So how long will it take to get credit right?
But we're getting it. That's what we've started.
Because again, the reason why we say that
Bro,
is
that's what we're starting.
we don't see how
I am not a commercial bank.
I know. So I don't see how these reforms work. I mean,
Without credit.
Yeah, I don't see how it really cascades all the way down without credit. So it's not going to happen, because at the end of the day, that guy that earns 150K that would think maybe it's okay
Gosh,
needs to be able to access credit.
But he can now. So imagine, let's
How?
look at
Where's
it
he going to
again.
get it from?
And you're earning 150K. Guess what? You have 2, 3, 4 kids at home. Some of them are in university.
But
Without students' loan, your disposable income is their university fees minus that 150,000 minus, minus that.
Yeah.
Now the students' loan is there.
It frees you up.
It frees you up.
yeah.
There's credit card there. You can use to get small appliances, even kekes or vehicles for yourself. It frees up additional income. You have, they are redoing the Federal Mortgage Bank, and you have low-cost housing, even as low as 7 million right now. If you go to the Federal House, the Ministry of Housing websites, you can see the houses there, the renewed up housing estates. This is not audio.
So this is what I'm going to say, and I'm hating that I'm about to say this.
It is there. So at the end of the day,
it is not the government's job
to provide
just don't even
credit.
say it, because me and you face now.
Provide credit.
No,
retail
but
credit.
just
Retail
it isn't.
consumer
But it's our
credit.
job to
And
provide.
this level of development.
It's our job to provide.
I totally
at this
disagree with
level.
So
you.
now we are saying at this level
Wait.
of development, where was
Wait.
this all
There
this
has
while
to
we've
be
been asking
something.
questions?
I am saying the government's job
Twitch, at
is
this
to
level.
Create an
Wait, I
enabling
will say it
environment
now.
for
First
credit
of all,
thrive.
did the
Definitely,
government
but-
create money points? Did the government create pay stack?
No, I think you're missing. You're missing the
because
point,
the
Tunji.
opportunity was there.
Even
No, so if you want to say the
well-developed
infrastructure,
countries.
you want to say the infrastructure, Abi, who created the infrastructure for money points?
But
Government policies from when they started.
Yeah, but
okay.
And
Credit.
credit as infrastructure.
Yes.
Has a policy to
Yes.
enable it.
but there are
We
there
need
are
Forget it. You can also
instances-
do credits without data.
But there are instances where government bodies step in, even in
Yes.
In which
developed
one?
But bro,
countries.
say-
No. In
Even
which
in
Nigeria?
developed
No,
countries.
no,
Don't
no,
let
Nigeria
us
now.
There are
put
times
the
when Fannie Mae,
cards.
Freddie
Don't let
Mac
us.
have to sort of step
Exactly.
in to
Yes,
maybe
but don't let us put the carts
buy
before the
jobs.
horse.
See, Arnold,
even in
Arnold,
Don't let us put the
Arnold.
carts before the horse. Without clean citizen data, how do you want to offer credit? In the last 3 years, NIMSI,
I don't know what.
NIMSI,
But
NIMSI has been.
isn't that why we have BVN, NIN,
Yes, but that is the
to start
thing.
collecting data?
So for the first time,
that's
in
why we have these
Nigeria,
things.
you're having a convergence of all those
I don't
data
even like that.
into a single
I'm this side
platform
of the
that you
story.
as a business owner, you as a lender can plug in. Because hey, when you don't have proper registration of births and deaths, proper registration of your citizens, how do you want to do credits? People will run.
There's somebody
The
in this
average
country.
person in an emerging market, and that's what we're taught in training school in banking.
I'm
takes
sure
a loan
there's somebody
not to pay back.
I know.
Yeah, but take it. One of the things I also heard, which is going to come out in one of our podcasts very soon. I start with somebody who is in this credit space, and the guy says, "I say you have credit bureau, you have all these guys, rating agencies, and says they don't work. In fact, there was an article on Nairametrics that came out recently where we also addressed that they don't work because people in that system will tell you what's going on is." What's this setup that banks have where you can
Global registry.
GSI only works for banks.
Yeah, but
So all
GSR
those
just
things-
started when?
Yeah.
GSI started under Emefiele.
Yes, I know, but that's what I'm saying. It's not too long ago.
No, it's long enough.
They released an amendment, so it's
Yeah, but those things are not
recently.
working. So credit bureau is not working very well.
No, bro,
Check
no,
rates
I
now.
disagree.
Let me tell you why it's not. I'm telling you that someone told me that if Arnold is a lender, is a microfinance lender or bank, and Arnold lends me money and lends Tunji money, let's assume I don't pay back. You are the credit bureau. I don't pay back. But Tunji pays. Arnold will not go to the credit bureau to report that I am not paying and that Tunji is paying. So I asked why. I said, because if Arnold goes to report that I'm not
You
paying,
lose him as a
then
customer.
the producer would not lend to Arnold and Arnold would not lend to me. And Arnold doesn't want that. Arnold wants the producer
you
to
can
lend
pay
to me
back.
so that he can lose. No.
So
They
so
still
he
has
can
come- no, but
lose.
now
Yes.
we're
No, but
coming.
that is going on.
but that's
And
terrible.
then
That's
he
a
also
terrible
doesn't want
mindset.
he also doesn't want to say that
Ugo
Tunji
Dre.
is
paid.
is
He's
paying
paid because he will then lend-
now go and lend to Tunji.
Ugo,
No, but that's
but that's
terrible
why
culture.
and
that's
that brings me
happening.
back to what I said earlier on. Without the convergence of all this data into a single platform, into a single national identity platform, it will be very difficult.
Otega, you know the thing, me, I'm
Why it works now is that because tomorrow, why does the person giving money to the lender, for instance, need to rely on the lender's data when they can plug in directly
Yeah, but the database
see.
will only work if everybody
if I talk, say this on my NPL,
The CBN has released a lot of policy guidance and policies and policies in the past few years
I can assure you this data, at least on the banked side. Exists. It is that you don't want to deploy it in a way that is innovative enough.
But the new CBN policies compels them.
So there's a
it's almost like saying that a bank that has you as a bad loan customer will not
refusing to
report.
put you out there as a bad loan customer.
There's a product we have. Part of the conversations of that product is that we were trying to do several things. So like when you sign up to personal pensions, because of the structure of personal pensions, the payout can only go into the account which is your name. The name that is tied to the BVN NIN of your name.
Mm-hmm.
So when we started the conversation, it has always been tied to one single account, the account you signed up with at that time. But we now, in design thinking, this is me, regulator, PFA, sitting down thinking about it. And we're like, what if the person now decides, this account that I'm using is not favoring me. I want to move to this account. The question now came...
What is that account? Bank account?
No, another bank account.
Is that universal?
Yeah, so the question is, how does this person do it? Then somebody now said, but it's the same... You see what I'm saying?
Well,
you see what I'm saying?
That's
no.
what I'm saying.
It's not that. It's not just that. I'm saying that there's access. There's access to records of everybody's financial. So that we are not using it.
What
what
a lot of the lenders have done before, and what the regulators allowed them to do before, was self-reports, self-regulate,
exactly.
and all those things. But you see this complaint that
it's still happening. That's self-reporting.
But the regulator has seen it. What they have done now is to bring in policies that compels them to.
Yeah.
Not only just...
Are they complying?
No. So now, there are also penalties for not complying with that. Because see, you're looking at it from an industry issue alone. By them not reporting a persistent detour, for instance, to the system, it has economic impacts for other Nigerians.
Yes.
Because that person can then go to a car manufacturer or go get a mortgage from a federal mortgage bank. And we are lacking the benefits of its financial history.
Otega, you know what's going on? You know, this lending space is wide. There's state lenders, there's federal lenders, they're different. So I can basically go from state lender, borrow money here, I don't pay, and then I go to federal lender, borrow money, I don't pay. There are people who just
that's
how they live every day.
And that's why you see a lot of the lending apps started sending those threatening messages.
Exactly.
People will get a SIM card, register a SIM card for that purpose alone.
And then dump it.
Yeah.
And they had all these loans elsewhere, but now you can't. If you do that, your SIM card is tied to your NIN. Your NIN and your BVN are now joined at the hip. It's now joined to your tax identification number by the new tax act.
Joined to your address, really.
So is there? So are you suggesting now that there is, even within government, there's some digital mapping that's going on?
Yes, that was the charge Mr. President gave to NIMC under Mrs. Odusote, the current DG. That was the charge he gave to her. And it must be done. And we're not only limiting it to Nigeria alone. It's actually going to be interconnected and interoperable with regional databases.
Do we know what
does that do for us as a country?
What does that do for us?
What's the advantage of that?
Data, you can only develop. You can only do your development.
So is it like
you can only plan properly.
I'm assuming it's like a social security number,
yes,
right?
It is now. Yes, because that's what your NIN number is.
Your address,
what we did, before they used to do the cash, conditional cash transfers. You go to people's houses and give them cash. Now that has been mapped. People either have digital wallets tied to their NINs, or if they had an account number, they get it directly in their account. You can easily audit it. The people providing the funds, international organizations, can easily audit it. But, as a student, again, I studied public health. You can't do national planning without proper citizen data. Know where people are. Know how migration between inter-country migration and intra-country migration is going. Know, seasonal, whether there's seasonal migration. How do you plan in terms of population explosion in a certain area for the next 10 years? I remember when they did Lekki Road initially, 2 lanes. It moved to 6 lanes. Now it's about, I think, 8 or 10 lanes. And I don't think it's even going to be enough. Now you have the, what do you call it? The Lagos Calabar Expressway on the other side of Lekki, you know, reducing because a lot of people are beginning to move to these areas. Yeah. The only thing that can help you plan properly, I'm sure if we had proper data in Lagos State when Mr. President was governor, you know, granular data, they probably would have not started with 6 lanes on this Lekki Road because there was nobody here. They probably would have done 10 lanes then. So, you know, by not having data, your development cycle, which should be maybe 10 to 20 years or sometimes 30 years, is reduced to about 5 years. Because we are a country that gives birth a lot.
There's
Wow. Wait to say
it took a second to drop. It took a second to drop. But I want to quickly say that there are people innovating in this space.
Okay.
And they are doing some fantastic work. There's
in what, the data collection or
no,
linking
as in creating like credit management systems. You know, so there's one I've followed very closely, Lender Square. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, Lend Square.
Lend Square. Yeah, they do a lot around ensuring that, you know, if you want to set up your own credit company.
It's like a Shopify for lending.
Exactly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so they do some
so
really...
how does that work?
And you see, that's my problem. That's what I was trying to say earlier. They've taken the bull by the horn to start innovating based on what we have today.
So they're just acting as a clearinghouse.
You get so
everything together.
Tomorrow we will get to the point where everybody is now with a number on their head. But as of today, we know that there are a lot of bad actors in the system. So we are building innovation based on the possibility of bad actors, but knowing that there are also good actors who deserve credit. So can we create a system within the imperfection that allows people who are good actors be able to gain credit? So for instance, if I wanted to get access to credit, for instance, and I was able to, because of what do they call this thing, CBN's open banking, if I was willing to fully open up my banking history to the loan company, that is some data point. So let's not look at it from yes, we will get to the point where NIMSI is ubiquitous and everybody is using it. But as of today, there is level of data that is useful enough to lend. So I'm saying that the thing is, yes, government will do policy, but it is still at the product level of innovation to provide what is based on what we have
I think
today.
we've even iterated fast enough in terms of this data, in terms of the credit space. Because I remember what the bank started with. We started with Nubank numbers.
Yeah.
And then we got it right. After a while, we shifted to BVN. You know, and now everything is converging under a single identity for the individual. You know,
I hope that works.
You guys should keep holding us to accounts.
That's what we're doing.
Call out the regulator. Call out the government. No, when I say call out, when you see people doing well, give them their props. But when you see room for improvements,
I mean, we gotta keep critiquing. That's it.
Engage us.
Yeah, we gotta keep critiquing. And I mean, the last question before we go, Otega, is so we get a lot of messages from foreign investors, even Nigerians that are investing locally. And the top thing on everybody's risk matrix today now is elections. So is there a message for investors about 2027 elections in terms of the economy? Because everybody just feels like, once he's like
Cardi B even mentioned
everything is just shut down. Nothing is going to happen. So what's the message? Is there like a message or feelers that we can get?
When the time for elections come, we will do the elections. And even during then, the business of government continues. I mean, the president is very focused. I don't think he has put elections first. Yes, forget the fact that people are moving to his party or anything. It's not because he's putting elections first. It's because they are seeing that someone was willing to take the hard decisions that everybody felt would be politically suicidal
If what happens?
in Nigeria.
Okay.
Subsidy removal was one of them.
Well, they also anyway. Some of
You
them
know-
too are moving
you
because they have to retain their position. That's also.
I mean, I'm saying, see, let's forget the political side of things. Let's look beneath the surface and the hype.
Yeah.
There are structural things that were politically suicidal.
Yeah, that
for
happened.
any
and-
government
I mean,
to do in Nigeria.
high risk, high reward.
That the president
he
has
took a
done
chance. He
with
took a chance.
courage and conviction. And, I give him props for that. An election next year, 2027, is not going to take the president's focus away from the job Nigerians have elected him to do from 2023 to 2027.
So a lot
God
of the reforms
willing.
that has happened, we shouldn't be afraid that some reforms that people like are going to be
See,
Unwound.
like
even
unwound
when,
and all
even
that
when
for
majority of the
political
country
reasons
did
and
not
all
like
that.
certain reforms, because we had, that holistic view of everything, the president stood his ground on those things I knew we provide structure to whatever it is we're doing. And even the results are speaking for themselves. You have more money in the Nigerian stock exchange right now than you've ever had ever. Simply because you are confident.
We had a
read my mind.
heated argument last week, right? And I just wanted to know, I've been trying to find, is there any, plan or any unified action across government agencies to recapitalize different regulatory, like we've seen.
Is it planned?
Yeah,
Is it like they're trying to
Because
afford the liquidity?
pension have done it, SEC has done it,
SEC has done it
CBN has
for
obviously done it.
CBN,
Everybody
all
thinks
capital
they're
market operators.
Yeah, but you see,
So is this a
Is there
plan? Is
agenda?
it coming?
Agenda
no. I think
Someone said they should increase for media.
let me speak freely as not as someone from government, but someone in my former role looking in as a strategist. I think these things ought to have been done a long time ago.
As in recapitalization.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
the
want to call it.
magnitude-
Let's call it recapitalization.
What should we call it then?
Nigeria is bigger as an economy than the formal side of things or formal regulation currently permits. Our stock exchange, look at it. Do we have, what's the total size?
Just 160 stocks.
That's even minus
Our buy is listing.
a lot of our fintechs, a
I
lot of
want
our
to list.
small.
Why are you smiling? I want to list.
Look, I'll give you an instance. When you go to the West, the ideas that a lot of our fintechs in Nigeria are doing billions in revenue, they don't even need to do a proof of concept before they were funded in multiples of the valuations our Nigerian companies today are. A Flutter Wave, is multiple times the valuation they currently have. Same with InterSwitch, same with eTransact. Based on the fundamentals, you can't do this. Those guys are performing miracles.
Yes, sir.
So when I look at our, the equity
point.
space, I'm like, this is not a reflection of the true value of these companies.
So is there pressure though?
There's
for
no
them
pressure.
to perform?
Again, the president has drawn that Roman wall. There's that line. Let regulators regulate. Let them come to him for guidance.
So does it support some of these their initiatives? A lot of what they're doing?
As long as they're part of the federal government of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, at some point, because the regulator belongs to a ministry or something, it has to come to his desk for his approval. And he's a very cerebral man. You cannot bullshit President Tinubu. You can't. And once you make the mistake of trying to BS him, you can already see it on his face and it will tell you off. Where he's not clear on something, he consults widely. He does. And he's also an avid reader. He reads, he consults,
What does he read? Books? He reads a lot of books.
he reads books, he reads journals, he reads research reports.
Does he watch movies though? Netflix.
You want to hear?
Bollywood.
You want to hear the personal side of him?
Yeah.
You know,
Just curious.
what I think, maybe I'll
yeah,
suggest
no,
it
yeah.
to the
His
larger
human
communication
side.
Yeah,
team.
does
His
he
human
watch?
side.
What kind of does he say hip hop? Does he say Nas fan? Or
You know
Tupac
what?
fan?
You know what should happen? Maybe after, now that, there's some breathing space for him after all the hard work of the last 3 years, maybe we should do something light with him.
Like
So that Nigerians can see the softer
fluff.
side
The fluff.
of
The
Mr.
fluff.
President.
Is
So
that the
Nigerians
fluff?
can
The
see
fluff.
why a mid-late 30s young man like myself
Mid-late.
will
my show 30s.
will stake everything, because trust me, by joining this government, first and foremost was me staking a quiet, successful career on the vision of someone. Because many Nigerians didn't give him a chance. Many in the political class also didn't give him a chance. Many of them didn't even expect him to win. But a section of Nigerians, the majority of Nigerians that voted, gave him the mandate on behalf of all Nigerians to lead us in this country. I'm lucky to have known him before he got into office. I'm lucky to have understudied him. In fact, in secondary school, he paid my WAEC school fees because I went to Lagos State Model College, Kanko. We had everything. I'm a direct beneficiary of his work.
Okay.
Let's give him the chance to succeed.
I mean, like,
let's give him the chance to move
He's
Nigeria
president
forward.
already, so I mean, the chance already.
Yeah.
By the grace of God,
The
he's
chance-
president
but-
2031.
The chance
I
on the
think the
table.
one I'm not going.
Last
I'm going to
final comment
hold. I'm going to hold Tega to is the NEC. Is it NEC or we call it NEC?
Yes, the NEC.
NEC.
The NEC.
Because what you've been able to say is that would be like guidance to the conversation around the $1 trillion economy.
Yeah,
At
that
least-
communicate.
Yeah, that
and
that
then
helps
the
us.
website.
That helps us be at least know that okay, this is direction in. This is what we're going to be focusing on. These are the areas that we are going to use to get to that place. Because I always talk about the Chinese have this 5-year rolling plan. So it's kind of like every 5 years,
It's
as
reviewed.
the country as a whole decides this is what we're going to focus on this 5 years. And then after that 5 years, the last 5 years is reviewed, then the new 5-year agenda is being put in place. And the entire country focuses on those objectives.
We used to have that in
Nothing
Nigeria at some
else.
point.
That's their culture.
We saw that in Nigeria at some point. The 10-year national
China
development
first.
plan.
Yeah. So because it is a collective national
But
thing.
it's easier for China because I mean their premier is usually there 10 years.
Yeah, and then
all
again,
that.
it's also
Yeah.
unicultural.
Yeah, exactly.
Party system and all
I
that.
was not talking about
No,
the
but
finance.
what I'm saying is
final
that it
comments?
would be great to have something close, in terms of the
We might
NEC
have that, but I think the budgeting cycle should also but the
GRP.
budgeting cycle should also
whatever.
reflect that 5-year plan.
Yes, it should.
Yeah.
No matter how much you plan in Nigeria, for as long as people do year-to-year budgeting,
There's a problem.
But we have
There's a problem.
MTF as well. So MTF is basically
but
2 year
MTF
cycle.
does not know all the key infrastructure projects, for instance, that you want to do that are multi-year.
Yeah, but it's usually the basis for budgets anyway.
Yeah, so I guess
So
Final comments from you.
Nothing
Final
really. I
questions,
mean,
You're really on the same page with Tega.
yeah, but I mean, you've done a great job so far. But I think that
there's more to be done.
more to be done in terms of, especially for me on the
So if you-
on
share
the propaganda
fund
side.
You want propaganda?
No.
On the communication side.
On the communication side, in terms of
Wink, wink.
propaganda, in terms of propaganda,
Yeah.
I think even as an investor, there's some things that I miss, right?
Yes.
And I study Nigeria as a job.
Yeah.
I study and I still miss these things.
Yeah.
So it would just be good. I don't know how you do it and how you communicate maybe strong, especially on the misinformation. Yeah, because fake news
It's a problem.
it's a problem. Yeah, so I think that's the job you have cut out for you.
All right. Final words for me though. But for me, before we then come to you to give final words on Tega, I'm just curious, what does the president, from the president's point of view and being personal to him, I know it's a bit of a question.
What is wearing right now? What are you
No.
asking?
What does he think is Nigeria's biggest export today? Like to him, it's like this is this is what is really
Like,
putting
if we
Nigeria
focus on
on the
this thing,
map.
Abi.
Like, it's
Yeah.
putting Nigeria on the map positively and all that. Like, he can beat his chest about. Forget about his reforms, right? That's him. But as a citizen as well, what is he most proud about?
That's a very tough question. I actually haven't thought of that.
Yeah.
And you'll be surprised that I actually expect that.
What's yours,
I
though?
expect that he's
What are you most proud
I am-
about, though?
as Nigerian.
Yeah. Let's ask you.
What is who most proud about?
Yeah, well,
I'll
Nigeria.
tell you.
Yeah, what?
Our human capital.
That's it.
Our human capital is.
So when
It's
you go to
priceless.
Canada,
I
you
beg.
tell them
There's a
I'm
lot
proud
of
about
let's
human
be honest,
capital.
human
Let me tell
capital.
you. No. See,
there's something called dead
I see
capital.
There's
There's something looking to dead capital.
No.
First, he
I
starts
see
to talk
pop-up.
about this. What are you most proud of, though?
I think for me, it's something that when I started, I realized
Okay.
is the fact that there's been reforms without bailouts. I didn't realize
You're speaking
how.
too much grammar. I said,
What are you?
what are you most proud of
You see,
as a Nigerian?
you see, he's always-
if you
So
want
that's what I'm
Brazilians,
saying now.
I think Brazilians will tell you they're proud of their samba.
I think
Do you
that.
understand?
no,
Yeah,
Nigeria
like,
Is that what you were looking
Let me
for?
say-
You told us what you were looking
Jesus,
for.
okay. You guys are
I think, okay, we have to
too narrow. What is he proud about?
Actually, our people.
Even if
What
it's
say
that one,
people
we
have?
still have people now.
Nigerians
What aspect of
are
Nigeria is he proud
Nigeria's
of?
greatest exports.
Our vibe,
Our
vibes,
vibes, our resilience.
Yay!
Again, the reforms that we have taken have been unsexy.
Yeah, they've been extremely painful.
But guess what? Nigerians have shown the world that you can do this. This is not suffer.
Don't suffer.
No, this is not
We're
suffer.
robust.
We are robust. You see, now Nigerians know that there is more to Nigeria than they ever thought. Before, Nigerians were used to government handouts.
Yeah.
Now people are looking inwards.
They're looking, yeah.
You know, see, when I say a young Nigerian exporting their service, their goods and everything,
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
So you guys are not
Robust,
proud about. You guys are not proud about. Our influencers. You're not proud about Afrobeats.
Are they
You're
not
proud about
Nigerians?
They are
Nollywood.
part of
And they're also
Nigeria.
exporting
Put a
now.
Nigerian in any sector. I'm proud of Abdul Samad Rabiu. I'm proud of Alhaji Aliko
put me on
Dangote.
anywhere on
I'm
God's
proud
green
of
earth.
Whiskey,
I'm
Davido,
triple my
Burna Boy.
word.
I'm proud of Two-Face. I'm proud of our movie stars.
Anyway,
Have you not been
See,
anywhere outside Nigeria? Have you not been anywhere? Have you not been outside Nigeria? Wait, let me say. Have you not been outside Nigeria where you enter a store and then you start buying something and the person says, "You're Nigerian,
You're Nigerian,
man."
right?
Your chest could not do like this. Say like, yes, I'm Nigerian.
The feeling.
Anyway, guys, on the comment section, what are you proud the most about Nigeria? Just tell us. We're not saying about what you hate the most, though. What are you proud about the most as a Nigerian? It would be interesting for us to know. This has been Drinks and Mics, brought to you by Nairametrics. Thank you so much, Otega. It was a pleasure having you always.
Yes.
In case you guys are wondering, Otega is our guy. So,
We're brothers.
I mean, we quarrel a lot, but always proud of. I mean, when you see a private sector guy going to government, sometimes you got to give them good feedback, listen to them, and all that. And
Bring
hear what
your
they have to
money
say.
into Nigeria.
Yeah. So and that's true. Are you bullish about Nigeria? Are you investing in Nigeria?
Before I joined the government, 60% of my investments were outside this country.
And now?
Shortly before joining the government, in the period between when Mr. President was elected and when he took office, it became 90-10.
Wow. So what are you investing in?
If I had more money today,
What sectors are you looking at?
agriculture number one.
To deliver
Agriculture number one. And then the value chain of our core manufacturing
Yes.
businesses.
Yeah. I think those two
those
are
are
big. Those two are
low-hanging
big.
fruits.
But these are people that are
Fruits,
complaining of credit too, though.
Yeah, but it's going to be a
No, but
turnaround.
To shift alpha on those areas, to find alpha in those areas are not very difficult.
Bro, but guess what?
That was the time to
Even
actually start
the
getting into
Boas
those
and the
areas,
Dangotes
Yeah.
did not wait for credits. All they needed to do was open.
But they had connect, though. That's what people say.
Bro,
No,
there is
let's
no
not- let's
business
not-
in this world.
There's
No,
not,
you don't need connect anyways.
Not necessarily connect. You need some form of social capital to move any business forward.
and it's not easy to get
Whether
that
it's
social
between your
capital.
peers.
I
Guess
like the way
what?
it always looks as if people are lucky
Guess
when
what?
they get it.
Who are the bank MDs around them? There were people that grew up with them. So when I see us becoming more individualistic as Nigerians, sorry, I know we've closed the show, but this is important that we say it. We need to go back to our communities. We need to go back to being a communal country.
Give me money.
You know,
I need like 40 million.
you know, bro, when you were looking for
100%.
funding for our bar,
Oh,
you
you
went to your
network.
friends, your network, people you had done work with over the
100%.
past 10, 15 years. And those were the guys that came up, you know, came up and showed out for you. We need to go back to that.
Yeah.
F individualism.
But we're doing that.
We are not the West. Nigerians thrive. The only reason Nigerians will be here in Nigeria and survive.
Yeah.
Unlike when they travel abroad and, you know, they sell everything and take all their community's money and go abroad and they're suffering there. It's simply because of community. You can't go hungry here. If you are putting your ego aside and you're willing to do the work, Nigeria will work for you.
Yeah.
And you see, anybody can be in government today or tomorrow. It doesn't matter. What matters is, as you see a Nigerian that needs help, that is serious and everything, hold the person, bring the person up. And guess what? 10 years time, when Mr. President is out of office in 2031, we'll be saying a different.
Otega, we're gonna have you back on Drink Some Mics
At some
again,
point.
and so that we can just review some of these things. Thank you all for being a part of this show. Of course, like, comment, and then guys, bye, Selo Otega.
Bye.
Bye,
Strong
Selo.
man.
All right, bye, Otega. Thank you so much. Until we do this again next time, do have a profitable week ahead. Cheers, guys.
Another cheers.
Oh, we did cheers.
Okay, so yeah, come on, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.